Biography John Masefield. When I am buried, all my thoughts and acts will be reduced to lists of dates and facts, and long before this wandering flesh is rotten the dates which made me will be all forgotten. And none will know the gleam there used to be about the feast days freshly kept by me, but men will call the golden hour of bliss about this time, or shortly after this. Men do not heed the rungs by which men climb those glittering steps, those milestones upon time, those tombstones of dead selves, those hours of birth, those moments of the soul and years of earth. They mark the height achieved, the main result, the power of freedom in the perished cult, the power of boredom in the dead man's deeds, not the bright moments of the sprinkled seeds. By many waters and on many ways I have known golden instants and bright days. The day on which, beneath an arching sail, I saw the Cordilleras and gave hail. The summer day on which in heart's delight I saw the Swansea mumbles bursting white. The glittering day when all the waves wore flags and the ship Wanderer came with sails and rags. That curlew calling time in Irish dusk, when life became more splendid than its husk, when the rent chapel on the brae its slains shone with the doorway opening beyond brains. The dawn when, with a brace block's creaking cry, out of the mist a little bark slipped by, spilling the mist with changing gleams of red, then gone, with one raised hand and one turned head. The howling evening when the spindrift smiths broke to display the four evangelists, snow-capped, divinely granite, lashed by breakers, wind-beaten bones of long since buried acres. The night alone near water when I heard all the sea's spirit spoken by a bird. The English dusk when I beheld once more with eyes so changed, the ship, the citied shore, the lines of mass, the streets so cheerily trod in happier seasons, and gave thanks to God. All had their beauty, their bright moments gift, their something caught from time, the ever swift. All of those gleams were golden. But life's hands have given more constant gifts in changing lands. And when I count those gifts, I think them such as no man's bounty could have bettered much. The gift of country life, near hills and woods where happy waters sing in solitudes. The gift of being near ships, of seeing each day a city of ships with great ships under way. The great street paved with water, filled with shipping, and all the world's flags flying and seagulls dipping. Yet when I am dust my penman may not know those water-trampling ships which made me glow, but think my wonder mad and fail to find their glory, even dimly, from my mind, and yet they made me, not alone the ships but men hard-palmed from tallying on to whips, the two close friends of nearly 20 years, sea followers both, sea wrestlers and sea peers, whose feet with mine wore many a bolt had bright treading the decks beneath the rising light. Yet death will make that warmth of friendship cold, and he'll know what one said and what one told, our heart's communion, and the broken spells when the loud call blew at the strike of bells? No one, I know, yet let me be believed, a soul entirely known is life achieved. Years blank with hardship never speak a word live in the soul to make the being stirred. Towns can be prisons where the spirit dulls away from mates and ocean-wandering hills, away from all bright water and great hills and sheep walks where the curlews cry their fills. Away in towns, where eyes have naught to see but dead museums and miles of misery and floating life unrooted from man's need and miles of fish hooks baited to catch greed and life made wretched out of human kin and miles of shopping women served by men. So, if the penman sums my London days, let him but say that there were holy ways. Dull Bloomsbury streets of dull brick mansions old with stinking doors, where women stood to scold in drunken waits of Christmas with their horn droning the news, in snow, that Christ was born. And windy gas lamps in the wet roads shining, and that old carol of the midnight whining, and that old room above the noisy slum, where there was wine and fire and talk with some under strange pictures of the wakened soul to whom this earth was but a burnt-out coal. O time, bring back those midnights and those friends, those glittering moments that a spirit lends, that all may be imagined from the flash, the cloud-held God game through the lightning gash. Those hours of stricken sparks from which men took light to send out to men in song or book. Those friends who heard St. Pancras bells strike two, yet stayed until the barber's cockerel crew, talking of noble styles, the Frenchman's best, the thought beyond great poets not expressed. The glory of mood where human frailty failed, the forts of human light not yet assailed, till the dim room had mind and seemed to brood, binding our wills to mental brotherhood. Till we became a college, and each night was discipline and manhood and delight. Till our farewells and winding down the stairs at each grey dawn had meaning that time spares that we, so linked, should roam the whole world round teaching the ways our brooding minds had found, making that room our chapter, our one mind where all that this world soiled should be refined. Often at night I tread those streets again and see the alleys glimmering in the rain, yet now I miss that sign of earlier tramps, a house with shadows of plain boughs under lamps, the secret house where once a beggar stood, trembling and blind, to show his woe for food. And now I miss that friend who used to walk home to my lodgings with me, deep in talk, wearing the last of night out in still streets trodden by us and policemen on their beats and cats, but else deserted. Now I miss that lively mind and guttural laugh of his and that strange way he had of making gleam, like something real, the art we used to dream. London has been my prison. But my books, hills and great waters, laboring men and brooks, ships and deep friendships and remembered days which even now set all my mind ablaze, as that June day when, in the red bricks chinks I saw the old Roman ruins white with pinks and felt the hillside haunted even then by not dead memory of the Roman men, and felt the hillside thronged by souls unseen who knew the interest in me, and were keen that man alive should understand man dead so many centuries since the blood was shed, and quickened with strange hush because this comer sensed a strange soul alive behind the summer. That other day on Urk Hall when the stones were sun-bleached white, like long unburied bones, while the bees droned and all the air was sweet from honey buried underneath my feet, honey of purple heather and white clover sealed in its gummy bags till summer's over. Then other days by water, by bright sea, clear as clean glass, and my bright friend with me. The cove clean-bottomed where we saw the brown-red spotted place go skimming 6 feet down, and saw the long fronds waving, white with shells, waving, unfolding, drooping, to the swells. That Saturday when we beheld the great and terrible beauty of Alamos Spate roaring white-mouthed in all the great cliffs gaps, headlong, tree-tumbling fury of collapse, while drenching clouds drove by and every sense was water roaring or rushing or in the fence, and mountain sheep stood huddled and blown gaps gleamed where torn white hair of torrents shook and streamed. That Saturday when we beheld again a spate going down in sunshine after rain, when the blue reach of water leaping bright was one long ripple and clatter, flecked with white. And that far day, that never blotted page, when youth was bright like flowers about old age, fair generations bringing thanks for life to that old kindly man and trembling wife after their 60 years, time never made a better beauty since the earth was laid, than that thanksgiving given to gray hair for the great gift of life which brought them there. Days of endeavor have been good, the days racing in cutters for the comrades' praise. The day they led my cutter at the turn, yet could not keep the lead, and dropped astern. The moment in the spurt when both boats' oars dipped in each other's wash, and throats grew hoarse, and teeth ground into teeth, and both strokes quickened lashing the sea, and gasps came, and hearts sickened, and coxswains damned us, dancing, banking stroke, to put our weights on, though our hearts were broke, and both boats seemed to stick and sea seemed glue, the tide and mill race we were struggling through. And every quick recover gave us squints of them still there, and o'er-tossed water glints, and cheering came, our friends, our foemen cheering, a long, wild, rallying murmur on the hearing, port 4. And starboard 4. Port 4, port 4, up with her. Starboard. And at that each oar lightened, though arms were bursting, and eyes shut, and the yoke stretchers grunted in the strut, and the curse quickened from the cocks, our bows crushed, and drove talking water, we made vows, chastity vows and temperance. In our pain we numbered things we'd never eat again if we could only win. Then came the yell starboard, port 4, and then a beaten bell rung as for fire to cheer us. No. Oars bend, soul took the looms now body's bolt was spent, damn it, come on now. On now, starboard. Port 4, up with her, port. Each cutter harbored 10 eye-shut pain-sick strugglers, heave, oh heave, cat calls waked echoes like a shrieking sheave. Heave, and I saw back, then 2. Port 4, starboard, come on. I saw the midship oar, and knew we had done them. Port 4, starboard, no. I saw bright water spurting at their bow, their cocks full face an instant. They were done. The watchers cheering almost drowned the gun. We had hardly strength to toss our oars. Our cry cheering the losing cutter was a sigh. Other bright days of action have seemed great, wild days in a pampero off the Plate. Good swimming days, at Hogback are the coves which the young gannet and the corby loves. Surf swimming between rollers, catching breath between the advancing grave and breaking death, then shooting up into the sun bright smooth to watch the advancing roller bare her tooth. And days of labor also, loading, hauling. Long days at winch or capstan, heaving, piling. The days with oxen, dragging stone from blasting, and dusty days in mills, and hot days masting. Trucking on dust dry deckings smooth like ice, and hunts in mighty wool racks after mice. Mornings with buckwheat when the fields did blanch with white leghorns come from the chicken ranch. Days near the spring upon the sunburnt hill, plying the maul or gripping tight the drill. Delights of work most real, delights that change the headache life of towns to rapture strange not known by townsmen, nor imagined. Health that puts new glory upon mental wealth and makes the poor man rich. But that ends, too. Health, with its thoughts of life. And that bright view, that sunny landscape from life's peak, that glory, and all a glad man's comments on life's story, and thoughts of marvelous towns and living men, and what pens tell, and all beyond the pen, and are summed in words so truly dead they raise no image of the heart and head, the life, the man alive, the friend we knew, the minds ours argued with or listened to, none but are dead, and all life's keenness, all, is dead as print before the funeral. Even deader after, when the dates are sought, and cold minds disagree with what we thought. This many-pictured world of many passions wears out the nations as a woman fashions, and what life is as much to very few. Men being so strange, so mad, and what men do so good to watch or share. But when men count those hours of life that were a bursting fount sparkling the dusty heart with living springs, there seems a world, beyond our earthly things, gated by golden moments, each bright time opening to show the city white like lime, high-towered and many-peopled. This made sure, work that obscures those moments seems impure, making our not returning time of breath dull with the ritual and records of death, that frost of fact by which our wisdom gives correctly stated death to all that lives. Best trust the happy moments. What they gave makes man less fearful of the certain grave, and gives his work compassion and new eyes. The days that make us happy make us wise.